This video is a short review of the phenomenon known as the Canaanite shift in Aramaic. Now, definition, again, this comes right out of Van Pelt. Prior to the time of biblical Hebrew, again, biblical Hebrew, the biblical books as they've been linguistically dated, as scholars, again, have been able to find a specific texts and manuscripts and then other inscriptions in Hebrew are able to sort of lay out a chronology of Hebrew as a language, and then since we have a large sample in the Hebrew Bible, we can determine where the text as we have it today fits into that history of the Hebrew language. Within the Hebrew Bible, you'll often get archaisms that are things left in there by scribes from earlier stages in Hebrew. But again, if you have samples of lots of different stages, you can, again, create this chronology. Well, prior to the time of biblical Hebrew, originally long A-class vowels shifted to O-class vowels in the Canaanite family of dialects. Again, since Hebrew comes after this, Hebrew is going to adopt this long O pronunciation. But that actually happened prior to the biblical Hebrew period. So you'll find it in other stages, other Semitic languages that are related to Hebrew prior to, again, the biblical linguistic period. And since they're all sort of the same family, it's just something that is observed across the board, with a few exceptions, as we're going to talk about, within the Semitic language family. So this shift from a long A-class vowel to a long O-class vowel is called the Canaanite shift, because, again, in certain Canaanite dialects within the family, we can see this shift. Now, when studying ancient languages prior to this shift, there will be no long O where it's expected. In the vocabulary that, if you have had Hebrew, maybe you've had Ugaritic, you're going to be studying Aramaic now, obviously, but you'll begin to notice a vocalization difference in words that you may already know. Now, again, prior to the shift, there's no long O, and where this really shows up is Ugaritic and Aramaic. Ugaritic and Aramaic did not undergo the Canaanite shift. There's no long O. And so, again, it's just a phenomenon that's known from the Semitic language family. And Van Pelt is telling you this because, again, if you've had Hebrew, you're going to wonder, well, why is this? I mean, here I'm looking at two words, Hebrew and Aramaic. They're the same word, and one is pronounced with a long A, and the other one has a long O. Why is that? Again, this is the reason for it. So awareness of the shift will help you with certain vocabulary. It won't allow you to be thrown off the trail. Again, this all presumes if you've had Hebrew. If you haven't, again, this is more of a point of trivia or curiosity. Canaanite shift examples. In Hebrew, we have enosh. Now, you could probably guess, if Aramaic did not undergo the Canaanite shift, again, this shift from long A to long O, when you have a word like enosh, you should be able to think to yourself already, well, that long O right here shouldn't be there. So Aramaic should have enosh, again, long A. Tov, Aramaic should logically be tav. Kol should logically be kal. Shalom in Hebrew, in Aramaic, is shalom. Again, if you knew Hebrew, you would be very familiar with these basic vocab words, and when you hit them in Aramaic, you go, well, what's going on here? What happened to the long O's? Well, it's a linguistic phenomenon known historically as Canaanite shift. And that's the end of this video. Again, just a little bit of review there. If you haven't had Hebrew, it's more of a curiosity than anything else.